In the 1980s, crack cocaine exploded across American cities. Communities collapsed, prisons filled, families disappeared. Now here's the question no one wanted asked. What if some of that cocaine was protected by the US government? Not smuggled past intelligence agencies, but moved with their knowledge. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is documented history. And it starts with a war America wasn't supposed to be fighting. Central America. Early 1980s, the Cold War is boiling, and Washington is obsessed with one word: communism. In Nicaragua, a left-wing government takes power. The CIA responds by backing rebel fighters, the Contras. There's just one problem. Congress bans funding them completely. No money, no weapons, no official support. But the war doesn't stop. It just goes underground. Because when intelligence agencies want a war funded, they don't ask permission, they find other revenue streams. And that's where the drugs enter the story. But the CIA wasn't dealing cocaine, right? Weapons cost money, training costs money, wars always do. So Contra-linked traffickers start moving cocaine from Colombia through Central America into the United States. And here's the key detail. US intelligence agencies knew. Pilots caught with drugs? Released. Traffickers tied to the Contras? Charges dropped. DEA investigations? Blocked. The goal wasn't profit, it was plausible deniability. As long as the war against communism continued, certain crimes were overlooked. And the cocaine didn't land in rich neighborhoods, it landed where no one in power lived. Mid-1980s, Los Angeles, South Central. Cheap cocaine floods the streets, then gets cooked into crack. Suddenly, a drug once for the wealthy becomes a weapon of mass addiction. Crime spikes, families collapse, mass incarceration begins. And while politicians declare a war on drugs, the supply keeps coming, from the same pipelines, protected by the same silence. This wasn't an accident, this was fallout, and the communities hit hardest were the ones with the least political power. But for years no one could prove it, until one reporter did. Journalist Gary Webb publishes a series called Dark Alliance. He names names, traces routes, connects cocaine traffickers directly to the Contras and indirectly to the CIA. The reaction is immediate. Major media outlets attack him, not his evidence, him. His career collapses, he's isolated, discredited. But behind closed doors, something else happens. The CIA launches an internal investigation, and they admit something shocking, quietly, buried in reports, without headlines. The CIA admits it knew about Contra drug trafficking, admits it didn't stop it, admits it protected certain assets despite the consequences. No arrests, no prosecutions, no apologies. Gary Webb dies in 2004, ruined, forgotten. The documents remain, and they tell a brutal truth. In the Cold War, some American lives were considered acceptable losses. This story isn't about the past, it's about power, secrecy, and who pays the price when governments operate in the dark. The crack epidemic reshaped policing, incarceration, entire generations. And it began with a war Americans never approved, funded by a drug Americans were told to fear. So the real question isn't, did this happen? It's, what else never made the headlines?